Hi everyone, Ed here from Shades of Vengeance. Today I'm going to show you the character creation for the Battlecruiser Alamo tabletop role-playing game. If you've done an Era D10 game's character creation before, this is all going to be very familiar to you. The character sheet does look slightly different, as you'll notice, but that's related to the fact that in this game you actually play as two characters in one. It's a very interesting little mechanic which is unique to this game. So I'm going to start by putting down the faction for our character, which is going to be the Triplanetary Confederation. Now that's the group of planets which are made up by Mars and Titan and Callisto, and also by the belt, the asteroid belt as well, in the Battlecruiser Alamo universe. So in this game, you play not only as one character, but as two. So you have both an officer, who is based on the ship, and has a role there. And the one that we're going to create just now is going to be the security officer. Now the security officer in Richard Tung's universe is responsible for not internal security, but actually the hacking that takes place between ships, attempting to remove the electronic defenses, shut down gravity, shut down weapon systems, and so on, giving one ship a significant advantage over the other. And I'm going to name my officer Fred Mugiono. Oops, I can't write. He's named after one of the artists I've been working with for a little while now. I'm going to give him a quirk, which is not related to the artist, I'd like to just point out. I'm going to say that he is bored easily. So I came up with an idea for this guy that actually he was so good at hacking that he joined thinking he was going to be a pilot, but he actually got assigned to be the security officer because he was so good. So I'm going to write here prodigy, and thought he would be a pilot. Okay. So as you can see, there's room for quite a bit of text in there, as needed. So then the other half of your character is going to be the Espatier, and I'll come on to do his stats, his information, when we do his stats as well. But I'm going to start with the officer's statistics. Much like the other Era D10 games, you will get 6, 5, 4 in the attributes in any order, and you'll get 11, 7, and 4 in any order in the rows. So what you'll start with is I'm going to start by putting my 5 into this top row here, and I think this guy, because he gets bored easily, I reckon he does a lot of weight training to take his mind off things. So he's above average in strength. He's also above average intelligence. I mean, I did say he is a prodigy, so he is above average in intelligence. And he's got a very low charisma because he's a bit prickly. He doesn't get on with other people. They don't care so much because he protects their ship when it's in danger, but he does not get on very well with other people. In terms of stamina, he has a little below the human average. So human average is about 2.5 in Era D10 as a rule, and he has a little below the average stamina, but he is very stubborn. So he has an extremely high willpower. He's very unlikely to agree to what other people ask him to do, and I'm going to give him 5 total willpower. So that costs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 1s, 2s, and 3s actually define how many points you need to spend. So I've used my 5 and my 6, which only leaves me 4 for the bottom row here. So I'm going to use 1 in dexterity, 1 in wits, and 2 in luck. And he's now got all of the level 1 attributes that he will get. Next, I'm going to have a talk about skills. So in skills, as I said, you get 11, 7, and 4. And I'm going to give him a couple in brawl. I reckon that he spends some time in the gym sparring with people. And I'm going to give him a couple in investigation as well. That's going to be his 4, because he gets 11, 7, and 4. I'm going to give him 4 in the physical one. The technical one's going to be his 11. So he's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, the 2 designates 2 points spent in order to level up that distance. So he's used 6 points there. I'm also going to give him a couple of engineering points in case his computers go wrong. So that's 7, 8. I'm going to give him 1 gunnery because he had intended to be a pilot. And I'm also going to give him 2 pilot for the same reason. So he's a possible pilot. He would be able to be a pilot. He wouldn't be a great pilot, not as good as he is as a security officer, but he would be a good pilot. I'm going to give him 1 commercial. He's got some commercial savvy. Maybe he's bribed someone in the past. Bit of a shady past, maybe. He's got 1 esteem because he is seen to be very, very good at what he does. And if he turns up saying, hey, the reason we need to do this is, here is a technical computer reason, he's likely to be believed because of his esteem. And finally, he is an officer in command of others, so he's going to have 2 instruction. Which really denotes command ability, among other things. At level 1, an Alamo character gets to have 1 specialty. And I'm going to give him one of the new ones for this game, which is Firewaller. And a Firewaller specialty gives you double dice when you are defending against an attack in a computer sense while you're in space combat. The only thing left to do for him, he's not going to have any equipment because he's an officer on board. He's literally sat at his computer. The only thing left to do for him is to give him some derived stats. So human adults are size 5. He's going to be a speed of size plus strength plus dexterity, which is 10. He's going to have a notoriety of 2. People have heard of him. People know that he's a very good hacker. He's also going to have an encumbrance of strength plus stamina plus size, which is 10. He's going to have a defense of 2, the lowest of wits and dexterity. And he's going to have a damage modifier of 0 and a kill modifier of 0. So that's this half of the character sheet done. There's now another half to do, and you get to stat out your Espatier, potentially in a different way. Now, the concept that I have for the Espatier, I'm going to call him Theo Harkin. And this Espatier is actually going to be a combat hacker. I've chosen to make my Espatier and my officer actually fairly similar. But there's no reason you have to, I've just chosen to do that. His Espatier quirk is going to be obsessive. And his concept is going to be that he is just an amazing combat hacker. That's his thing, that's what he does, and that's why he's very, very good at what he does. So all of his stats are going to be based around that background, that concept that he is an amazing hacker. And he focuses all of his training on being a better hacker. So this time we're actually going to put on the top row, we're going to put the 6. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he's only going to have 1 strength. He's going to have 2 charisma because he has to work with his unit. But he has a very high intelligence. Again, his stamina is going to be fairly low, but his willpower is going to be a little higher. Because again, he focuses more on the mental side of training than he does on the physical side. And again, that's the 4, I'm sure you'll have noticed. Finally, we've got the 5 left, so I'm going to put 2 in dexterity, 2 in wits, and 1 in luck. And I apologise, the bottom's been cut off a little on this print here. So, those are the attributes. I'm now going to go on to the skills for this character. So, he has a minimum level of unarmed training, because that's what all Espatiers go through, in my opinion. You'd have to have a specific reason to avoid it. It's not part of the rules, I should say. It's just something I've decided to give him. Investigation, I'm going to give him 2 investigation. And I'm going to give him 2 larceny. I reckon he's able to get through the odd locked door if he needs to. I'm also going to give him 2 stealth because he is a combat hacker. He's going to sneak up on people and compromise their equipment. And in terms of computer, I'm going to give him 5 points in computer for his 11, towards his 11 I should say, 6 points for a level 5 in computer. I'm again going to give him 2 engineering in case some of his equipment breaks or in case they actually need an engineer as well. And obviously he needs to have some gunnery in order to be useful to the unit as an Espatier. Now that is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've actually got 1 more point to play with, and I think I'm going to put it in medicine. He's got basic medical training, and he knows what he's doing there. Next, I've got this this last row here, and again, I apologise, the printer seems to have cut off the bottom. Usually you'd just reduce the size of the image so that it wouldn't have that problem. But I'm going to give him 1 intimidation, and I'm going to give him 2 persuasion for those situations where he ends up having to, talk to people, which an Espatier does have to do occasionally. Finally, I'm going to give him 1 instruction as well. So you might notice that these two actually are fairly similar characters, and as I said, there's no reason why you have to. You could have a security officer, as I've done it here, and then you could have a complete muscle mind as your Espatier if you choose to. It's totally up to you, and it does give you a lot more breadth if you'd like to play 2 very different character strengths. Again, adult humans are size 5, and I'm just going to quickly do the derived statistics again. The encumbrance is going to be strength plus stamina plus size, which is 8. The speed is going to be dexterity plus strength plus size, which is going to be 9. His notoriety is going to be 0. No one's heard of this guy. Theo Harkin, who's that? His initiative is going to be 7. His defense is going to be 3. And I've not done his equipment yet, so I'm going to give him hacking equipment, which will give him actually a +2 to computer. So it'll give him a +2 to computer whenever he's hacking in the field and can plug in his hacking equipment. I'm going to give him medium armor, which gives him a +1 damage modifier and a +2 kill modifier, which is going to be his damage and kill modifiers over here. Oh, you can't actually see that on the camera. There you go. +1 damage, +2 kill from the medium armor. And finally, I'm going to give him a taser, which is a relatively standard piece of equipment for Espatiers when they are sent on non-lethal missions, or particularly when they're on board ships, because as a general rule, you don't want to go around shooting circuitry and causing hull breaches. It's very much a thing in this universe that using the wrong kind of weapons on board a starship can be very deadly for everyone involved. So, as a specialty, I'm going to give him Fast Hack. And Fast Hack is going to allow him to, where it would normally be a continuous roll to hack an enemy in battle, he'll actually be able to do it at a penalty related to how difficult it really is. But he'll be able to do it in 1 roll as a 1-shot action. The last thing to do, the only thing I haven't done, is I haven't filled in his health, which is going to be 5, his size, +2 for his stamina. And actually that's the same for Fred up here. Fill in the level 1. And that's the character complete. It's ready for play. So I understand that this is maybe a little bit different. It's quite a dense character sheet relative to other ones we've done. But giving you this opportunity to play the 2 characters depending on the situation you're in is a core part of this game. And I really think that it's going to bring something new and different that probably you won't have seen before. So that's it for this video. And I'll just allow you to see the bottom half of that sheet as well.